Welcome to C Studio. In this video series, we'll be taking a walkthrough of Warudo, the flexible and personalized 3D VTubing software you have always wanted. Seriously, it's a powerhouse and maybe my first recommendation for content creation using VRM avatars. It's an all-in-one VTubing suite that combines face tracking, body tracking, character posing and animations, an asset and environment library, stream integration, and an intricate blueprint system that allows you to customize anything. You can download Warudo by Hokuya Labs from Steam for free. In this first video, we'll be loading up our VRM model we made at C Studio into Warudo and setting up face and hand tracking. Once you start the program, you'll be greeted with two windows. One will contain the scene with your avatar and environment. The other is the editor where all the setup is done. Feel free to resize them however you want. If you ever happen to close the editor or lose it, you can just click on the scene window and press escape to recall it. The onboarding assistant is pretty handy if you're setting up for the first time. Here you have the basic setup, the interaction setup which you do after the basics, as well as a link to the Warudo Discord if you have any questions, and their social media if you want to keep up with updates or see content they share from the community. Warudo is going to open up to the last scene you created, so I'm going to go ahead and set up a new one by clicking the menu down here in the corner and click New Scene. We're going to name this one Face Tracking. In the menu, you can also switch between light and dark mode if you're interested. We'll start with the basic setup. To import your VRM, click on the Open Character folder and place your VRM into the folder that pops up. There we go. Then click on the drop-down menu and choose the VRM that you want to use. As you can see, he's all loaded in here, and then hit OK. Next, you'll be prompted to configure motion tracking. This is where you configure your webcam, phone, Vive trackers, Makopi trackers, or whatever you have for face or body tracking. We're only going to be using webcam today, but we're going to go ahead and let Warudo recommend a setup for me. Next, you're going to get some questions that are going to let Warudo help figure out what equipment you need. So do you need full body tracking? No. Do you need upper body tracking? We're going to hit yes for that, and that'll give us some hand tracking. Do you have a Leap Motion controller? We're not using that today. Do you have an iPhone or iPad that supports Face ID? I do, but we're not using that right now. Do you have a working webcam? Yes. And then you want to choose the webcam you want to use for your face and hand tracking, and click OK. So based on our answers, Warudo recommends we use MediaPipe for both our face and our pose tracking. I know that the MediaPipe has really good hand tracking, so this works well for me. Now you can always go back and reconfigure the motion capture because you do have other options here if you want to try them out later. But for now, this works for me. We're going to scroll down and click OK. Next, you're going to get asked if you want to import your expressions. Or not today. We'll skip that for now. On this page, it'll ask you if you want to configure a background. You have the choice between keeping the current background or changing it, or switching to a transparent background, which would be ideal for if you wanted to place your character into a video capture software like OBS. For now, we're going to just let it pick a background for us. We're going to go with the VR room. There are a couple of ones that are default loaded in, and we're going to hit OK. And there we go, done. We have now completed basic setup. Go ahead and click OK. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the scene that we've created here. You can rotate around your character by clicking and dragging, and you can zoom in and out by using the scroll wheel. Also, if you hold the scroll wheel and move the mouse up, down, left, or right, you are able to position the camera around the room. Underneath camera 1, you also have other options for how to move the camera around. We'll go over that in another video. Next, let's take a look at the character options we have here. You'll notice, let's go ahead and move this over to the side so you can see what happens as we do these options. You can disable and enable your character. Next, we're going to look at the transform options, which allows you to easily move your character around your environment by clicking and dragging on the X, Y, and Z axes for, position, rotation, and scale in case you want a giant character or a small character, just to get them to fit into the room properly. Let's go ahead and move them back up into the floor, and you can always quickly reset your position by clicking the reset button right next to each option. Underneath that is the source. By going through the source, you can actually easily switch between different VRM models. We're gonna head back to our dragon character. Underneath this, you have motion capture. We did turn on the media pipe camera before, so as you can see, I have face and hand tracking in front of the camera, and you can turn that off. You can calibrate it, so if you need to put yourself back in the middle of your camera, if you notice that maybe when you're looking forward, the character looks off to the side, you can hit this button, make sure you're looking directly at the camera, and go ahead and hit calibrate. And underneath that, you can remove the media pipe motion capture that we set up, or you can go through the setup motion capture again and choose different options and try them out and see which ones work best for you. I'm gonna go ahead and do the media pipe. What I also like about media pipe is it supports the blend shape mappings, and the C Studio models come with 52 blend shapes. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to see a lip sync option, and this allows your mouth to move according to the input into your microphone. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this to my microphone and click OK. And then you have the pose tracking again. We're gonna use media pipe, and that is what is going to give us our hand tracking. And then we have some options here. We're gonna go ahead and hit OK, and this is good. And we are live again. Below that, you have your expressions options. You can also import the VRM expressions here if you missed it before. And if you have your expressions, you can go ahead and customize them via these options below that. Underneath that, you have some animation options, which are pretty awesome, especially if you're trying to make some memes or create some images of your character. You can go through the animations. Once you click on them, you can just kind of use your arrow keys to toggle through them and take a look at what they all look like. They have a lot of positions in here. There are also quite a few dances in here if you want your character to kind of break it down. And what's cool about it is you can still take control of hand tracking or face tracking in the middle of these animations. So let's head over to, I don't know, W sitting, and I can still raise my hands up in this position and be able to talk and interact with my audience or film any kind of footage I'm looking for. You also have default hand position, so say maybe you want to hold a fist. Below that, you have breathing animations. Turn that on and you'll be able to see your character move naturally as you turn this up. And it'll kind of look like, you know, they're breathing on their own. Find something that looks comfortable for you. Below that, we have some swaying, another just kind of general animation to make your character look more alive. And that's just kind of the basic things I want to show you about setting up the character from the start. You'll also notice here the transform tool is highlighted. This is big circle, and this is actually the rotation tool. That's the last one that we were messing around with. So just like here, how we were dragging and changing the position of our character by dragging on the X, Y, and Z axes, you can do the same thing here inside of the scene. By clicking on this square, you can move the character, you know, in full 3D motion. If you switch between the transform tools here, you'll be able to have full control inside of the scene in case that works easier for you. And last thing I want to show you really quick is how to get the screen transparent in case you want to add the character to your OBS. Inside of the camera one options, you can scroll down and click on transparent background. We're gonna go ahead and do that and click yes. Down below that, you have your output options. We're gonna be using Spout. Spout's great because it uses less resources on your computer when you are capturing your Warudo images. Below that, you have NDI, which is like mostly for Mac users, and then the virtual camera output, which will allow your Warudo scene to be detected as a webcam, which could be handy, say if you're in like a Discord call and you want to just stream directly from Warudo into Discord or Zoom or something like that. And then let's take a look at our OBS. We're just gonna go ahead and drag this in here. And we want to add a new source. We're doing the Spout capture. If you don't have Spout, you can download Spout. It only takes but a moment. Here you see we have the character in the room. And the last thing we need to do is head into the environment and go ahead and disable it. Once you disable the environment, you'll see your character has a black background. I am going to right click on the Spout capture and go to properties, and we're going to turn on the alpha layer. And now that the character has no background, I can now place them, you know, in the corner of my scene. Well, maybe I shouldn't make them that big. Really, you should make your Warudo scene larger for the highest resolution, and then place the character about where you want them to be on the screen. There you go. As you can see, my character is down in the corner of the screen, and I'm ready for VTube. We can go ahead and fire up a game, and we're ready to go. So I hope this video was able to help. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. In the next video, we'll go over some more detailed setups. This is just kind of the basic how to get Warudo up and running. Say if you want to VTube or maybe do some commentary kind of content. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment sections, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Later.